back. I hope you guys all had a great Easter break. I know I did. But now we're going back on track. We're learning about language, and this week we're all about commas. Now, comma is kind of like a stop in your breath or in your sentence. For example, I have this very first sentence I have says, "Come and watch the elephant eat Debbie." What? The elephant's going to eat Debbie? Well, we use commas to separate those things, so it makes a little bit more sense. So, for example, if we were to say, "Come and watch the elephant eat Debbie," I'm stopping and telling Debbie what I would like her to do. I want her to come watch the elephant. But if I didn't have the comma, it would sound really bad. So that's why we're going to practice our commas. Now, there are two rules. Our first one, this is all on page 133, and you can look at it while we're going along. It's just a list of items. If I were to say, "I like bananas, apples, pears, and peaches," that's my rule number one. It's a list of items. A list of items that I like. Now, Ian could say, "I like football, basketball, baseball." Still rule number one. Now, my rule number two is a list of adjectives. Now, if you don't remember what adjectives are, they're words that describe a noun or a pronoun. So if I were to say, "the crazy, wild lion." Crazy and wild are those words that are describing lion, and it's our adjectives. So let's take a look. So for number two, the wind was cold, damp, and gusty. So this could be rule number one or rule number two. We'll take a look. The wind was cold, damp, and gusty. What is describing wind? Well, we know the wind was cold, damp, and gusty. So it's rule number two. So I need to find my commas. I can't just say, "The wind was cold, damp, and gusty." I have to break it up. So after each adjective or after each item that's being listed, we're going to put a comma. So the wind was cold, damp, and gusty. Now, here's a little trick for you. When there's the word "and," you know that is going to be your last comma. Right before "and." That is your last comma. You will not put one here. Doesn't go there. No. That will be your last comma. Okay? So let's look at the third sentence. The furry, frisky cat. Now, I notice first and foremost, I don't have the word "and" in this sentence. So I'm just going to take a look at all of the adjectives or lists that there are. So, the furry, frisky cat. My first list or first word is furry, so I'm going to put a comma, and frisky cat. I do not need to put one here because there's nothing else separating frisky and cat. Okay, so it would just be furry, frisky, cat. So, if I were to say, oh, sorry guys, this is rule number one. I made a mistake, sorry. Rule number one, I'm gonna put a 1. This is rule number 2. Okay, so if you have the word "and," your comma will go right before, and that will be the last comma in your sentence. Now, if there are no "ands," you just put a comma between the adjectives or the list of items that is being said. But you do not put a comma between the adjective and the noun, pronoun, or whatever they are describing. So, if I were to say, "The moon was bright and luminous," I have the word "and," but that's all I have. So I don't need the commas. So what I'm going to do real quick, is write that sentence so you can see it. The moon was bright and luminous. So, the moon was bright and luminous. I have an and right here. But if there's only two things, oh, I forgot my period. If there were only two things, I don't need a comma. I know it gets kind of complicated, but we're only going to focus on rule number 1 and rule number 2. A list of items and a list of adjectives. So if I were to say, I like the colors blue, yellow, and orange, what rule would that go under? 1. So it's a list of items. Now if I were to say, Diego is very smart, kind, and generous, it's a list of adjectives of how Diego is. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to look on Enmodo for your assignment. You just have to write a few sentences using your comma rules. Okay? If you guys need any help, let me know, and I will help you the best I can. All right? Bye.